Good morning, citizens of the world. My name is Davinci Jeremy, and my channel is dedicated to the very important topic of savings because, well, everyone needs to know how to save and invest. Today, I'm going to be talking about why I think Bitcoin is going to see prices well beyond $1 million in the next bull run. Also, it's going to be obviously because of quantitative easing. That's duh. And then, of course, the Bitcoin halving and its quantitative tightening and reduction of output. We're also going to be doing some Bitcoin TA and talking about Twitter that I did yesterday that blew up on the Twitterverse, and I can't believe it. But anyways, we'll talk about a little bit about that, and it's about me selling my house. And so stay tuned if you're really excited about that. Finally, I'm going to be answering some questions that you guys left in the last video in the comment section below. So if you want some of your questions answered, please leave them in the comment section below for this video. All right. Bitcoin is quantitative hardening. Yes, this is called the halvening, basically. And you heard about it. You've seen the parties, right? You've seen the tone-based parties. You went to probably some of those parties, right? Some of them got canceled, right? Because YouTube doesn't appreciate Bitcoin, people talking about Bitcoin. And basically, we have to realize that at the same time that Bitcoin is quantitative hardening, the dollar is doing QE, which is quantitative easing, which is actually a euphemism for printing money. And you have like this dual force that didn't exist the last time we had the halving. Right? We already had like the quantitative hardening part, not so much the quantitative easing part back in 2017. And in fact, the interest rates were going up back then. And now we have like interest rates at zero, almost zero, and they want to go to negative interest rates, right? NERP, not ZERP. It's not zero interest rates, but NERP, negative interest rates. And so the U.S. wants to print money like it's going out of style, right? Now I'm thinking maybe these people are like not that smart, right? The central bankers. But I mean, I asked kids that the teenagers here in Chile, because like I'm sure this is something like basically you could understand. Anybody can understand. So I asked the question: what do you think will happen if the government prints too much money, right? And they said, well, it loses value. Okay, so you do know what happens when that happens, when somebody prints too much money. Yeah, it's obvious. So I went around asking, right, Chileans. I wish I did some video recording. I went around and asked them people, what did they think if the government printed too much money? And they all said, well, duh, it loses value and prices would go up. Okay, so obviously the average person can figure that out. And then, you could ask the opposite question. Okay, so what happens if, they reduce the supply of money? What will happen, right? Well, prices would go down. Okay, so that means the value of that currency would go up. Yeah, that's obvious, right? So the same applies with Bitcoin, and everybody wants Bitcoin. A lot of people want Bitcoin, right? And a lot more people are going to want it as prices continue to go higher. So this is part of the reason why I see Bitcoin going to $1.2 million easily. The inflation, right, basically causes prices to rise. We all know this. This is basic supply and demand economics. And yet somehow the government fails to see that. I mean, I don't understand how this is possible. How in America and around the world that you can see food prices going up, and like for example, restaurants eventually are going to have to raise prices because when they try to get their employees back, right? They're gonna have to fight against the government paying them money to stay at home. So obviously they're gonna have to raise the prices of meals in the restaurants. And of course, because the government doesn't see that their printing of money causes the prices to go higher, they're going to say blame the restaurant owners and the people who just run a business. This is a sad state of affairs, right? And it's been going on for a long time now, and you know that that businesses eventually are going to have to close up shops. There's going to be less people go shopping because of all the prices going higher and higher and higher. More and more businesses are going to close up shops and cause um, actually less things to be able to be purchased. And as we have less things to purchase, right? There's going to be higher prices, which will cause um, the rich people to FOMO into Bitcoin and other hard assets because they're seeing prices rise, and because there's a lot more money, a lot less stuff to buy, right? And everybody's getting paid more, so eventually they're going to be purchasing more Bitcoin, and we're going to see a FOMO that is going to be out of this world. We might even get to like 5 million or something, like some crazy number in this round, this next round. Unfortunately, it might be the last time we're going to see a 100x move from Bitcoin. I think we're probably going to be, that will be the last hurrah, big hurrah. I mean, it'll still go up, right? But not in crazy amounts of value. Because a lot of people will probably lose a lot of money in that large FOMO, and these are the people who are going to lose are the people who are super rich, and so they're not going to come back to this so quickly in another 4 years, in my opinion. All right, so that said, we're going to head over to the TA part of this video. I'm going to switch screens. And before we go to the TA, we're gonna talk about this this Twitter that I did. My wife and I are selling the house for Bitcoins, and oh boy, I love my house, but I don't want to go. And I talked about that, right? Because she's the real estate agent came by to take pictures and stuff like that, and so she made it real. And wow, a lot of you like this comment, like this tweet, and also commented it. So if you want to comment and like this tweet, go right ahead and check that tweet out. It's over. I'll leave it in the link in the description below. Okay. We have this morning Bitcoin popping up. Awesome, right? We have like our trade from yesterday, right? Both on Crypto's channel and on my channel. We talked about this trade, and it seems to be going fairly well. Looking at the weekly, I really think we should head up to this top of this triangle here before we actually roll over. So that's approximately 8,500, and that makes most likely sense, and it lines up with my target area. Of course, we also have we won't talk about Bitcoin dominance today. We'll also have this huge gap that we could fly a plane through, and that's still available. So obviously, Bitcoin has some room to move up, based on the prices of CMA, because industry players, right? Institutions, when they miss the boat, they like to bring the boat back, as you know. Alrighty, so let's. With that said, let's head back to our presentation here, and before we talk about Q&A, please, if you like this video, please hit the subscribe button, right, and the bell icon below. Also, if you click the more button, you'll see our backup channel, show more basically, and you see our backup channel. Please click on that and subscribe to our backup channel on Library, because we've already talked about this. Bitcoin is censoring everybody. Also, if you're interested in any of the products that I have here to support the channel. You can click on any of these links to help support the channel. Okay. Questions and answers. Remember to leave your questions in the comment section below so that we can use them for the next video. Okay. Oken asks, do you think that the stock market has already seen its lows, or do you think that there's more downside? How could that affect Bitcoin price in the future? Well, as you know, I've already said many times that I think Bitcoin will get whacked when the stock market starts to dump, but the percentage might get lower and lower to the point where they're going to separate. It's just going to separate and say, okay, forget this and move on. Probably going to happen in the September timeframe, I really think, or September or October timeframe, where I think prices are going to go, okay, forget this. It's not going to bother with the stock market because, there's not enough supply. And if there's not enough supply, well, prices have to go up. And so they can't really start dumping on the market as much. They will try, but at a higher level. So what's going to happen is the market might dump, but at a higher level, and not as hard as the stock market. So that's what I think we're going to see in the September-October time frame going forward. Okay, Nico asks, Davinci, how should people act after they're investing in BTC? Still holding them regardless of the USD price, potential huge dump, or sell them to get back to USD? Okay, so what Nico's asking is, should you get in and out, jump in and out of Bitcoin, right? So that you can get more Bitcoin by buying high and selling low. You don't do that. The average person doesn't know how to do that. The average person buys high and sells low. So you should just ignore the price and just dollar cost average. And what dollar cost averaging is basically you decide, let's just say either you have a whole bunch of money to dump into Bitcoins, or you have just your paycheck coming in to dump into Bitcoin for savings. You should simply just split up your large portions into small amounts, and then every week or every month you decide how to put it in. You just take a portion of your money and put it into Bitcoins. And every time you see a dump, right, a huge dump, dumpy candle, right, like a large long candle, you go, okay, you know what, I'm going to take that one, like let's say you split it into 10 parts, which I think probably is the best thing to do, because then it gives you an opportunity to, every once in a while when there's a big dump, say, okay, well, I'll take 1/10 of my money to put into that I'm saved up and put it into Bitcoins. And that's the best way about going about it, is to take that 1/10 and put it in whenever it dumps. And then obviously the 1/10 every month or every week that you've decided to put in to Bitcoins, so that you get the best average price of Bitcoins and nothing else. You will not be able to get in and out, to swap, to finagle the market in order to get in and out on time. So I would suggest you dollar cost average. Okay. Well, thank you for watching. And finally, I am so glad that we have Bitcoins, because now I can save for retirement and be able to know that I'll be able to buy more, thus my labor has been preserved. Thank you for watching. Cheers.